Welcome, everybody. It is I, Matsuda, here, joined with the one and only Doctor, here to cast for Risen's Unstoppable Premade Week 2. And tonight's going to be a special one, folks, because tonight we have Risen's very own Mankarine versus League of Dolphins. And straight into Pro Draft, going to go ahead and see what's up going on into tonight. How you doing, Doctor?
I'm doing good. I'm super excited to be back with another Risen series. These guys put in so much work for the scene, and their games they get out of it are so good and so much fun to watch. And right off the rip here, we're already into pick and ban, like you said. And I'm curious if Mankarine just doesn't have a ban, or if Pro Draft is bugging out for me. But League of Dolphins have banned away Ornn, pretty much the tier 1 champion in all of League of Legends right now.
Yeah, and I believe sources are telling us that it is an Iron ban. It's just Pro Draft flag. So that is an Iron ban on the side of Mankarine, along with the Shen. But speaking about the Ornn, yeah, recently Ornn has been immensely strong. A rather really good champion. It works well in competitive 5 comps. And, Ornn items are great. Really good frontline. Not necessarily the hardest champion to use. So overall, it's really nice, especially if you can build a comp, or if it's well with any comp, really. And another band we see is Xerath, so a lot of these high skill cap champions coming out of the bands.
Yeah, I mean, for those who don't know, we are currently on the 10.4 patch. So there was some small changes here and there coming in. Nothing too big. Soraka was technically nerfed. Granted, I am going to have to agree with LS in that she's actually going to be stronger now in the top lane, just due to her having a bigger heal later on in the game. But Sejuani, obviously, now one of the top tier picks in the jungle coming out more recently, and being countered by Aphelios, who was nerfed this patch, and Yorick, who I'm a little afraid, because Yorick's in these types of matches always pop off.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about, so far these picks, they Omega buffed Cinderhook jungler, so they're forcing the Sejuani meta again. So I'm expecting a Trundle here. If it's not picked for that third pick for League of Dolphins, then I'm assuming something's up, because eventually it's going to be banned for the second phase of picks and bans. But yeah, I mean, despite the Ophelios nerfs, I think Ophelios is still very viable. It's not as strong, but it's still serviceable towards any team that's willing to pick into it. And right away, we see the Ezreal locked in here, so I think Ezreal's in an okay spot. I believe a lot of people are running a lethal tempo. That seems to be the current consensus into that. And they actually didn't lock in Trundle here for League of Dolphins, so very interesting to see. Wondering if Mankarine's going to go ahead and ban that to save their Sejuani pick here.
So in all honesty, I'm actually not sure they have to. Sejuani does have the option of going Fleet Footwork to try and alleviate some of that Trundle stealage there. But looking already at the comp, we have Sejuani Kled, both of them just absolute monsters in picking up and engaging. Kled obviously having the ultimate there, the charge, just getting deep into the backline right away. And you can follow that up with Mad Hog Sejuani just running in and popping her abilities as well. And when you have 3 completely immobile champions in Aphelios, Yorick, and Lulu, it's free real estate, really. They can just run in, do whatever they want, and Ezreal can just hang out on the backside using that lethal tempo, or even, he could use just about anything as long as he doesn't misplay his positioning and be just about fine. And yeah, I agree here. They don't go ahead and ban it out. Instead, they pinch the champion pool and the mid lane pool.
Yeah, and I'm wondering, they left Yuumi open, and I know Yuumi got some compensation buffs either this patch or last patch. So we've been seeing a lot of Ezreal Yuumi in terms of competitive play. So wondering if they're going to go ahead and lob them into their comp. It works actually very well. You have Sejuani and Kled, both of which complement Yumi's ultimate. So really sets up an amazing fight if they're willing to pick it out. But we do see Zach coming in for the League of Dolphins, and there it is, the Yuumi coming in straight from Pro Draft.
I was just about to say that, Yuumi Ezreal too, in and of itself in a lane matchup, is very hard to deal with. Lulu Aphelios doesn't have a heal, only has the shields, and then the Severum to try and heal up. So, I mean, if you can land some good poke, going to be very difficult. And, as we come into these last couple of picks, I do want to talk about that York a little bit more. It is presumably going to be going to Shanghai in that top side. and he's essentially a one trick. Looking at his, season 10 stats here, he has 7 times more York games than any other champion so far. Sitting on about a 70% win rate as well. That's not a good sign for Kled. That this is potentially a very dangerous lane for him if Shanghai can get going.
Yeah, definitely. Shanghai, on the York is going to be very scary, especially if they're able to kind of just run this 1-4 comp. I can see them running. I definitely see them just lobbing the rest of the 4 teams in a different lane, letting York do his business. And I do kind of like the Victor response to the Veigar. It's not necessarily a really good matchup, but I think Victor's been okay. He's not, necessarily strong or a top priority pick, but I can definitely see this being within a comfort pick for the mid laner Twiz. So
And I'm
I'm
actually curious what the idea behind the Vigar pick was. Just because I don't feel like it fits the rest of the comp, really. I mean, it's very immobile. It's very, zone heavy defensively. You can't really use the cage as offensively as you used to be able to. Like, there's no flash cage plays anymore.
yeah,
You do need to set it up a little bit. However, if they're on an objective, say a dragon or a herald, yes, you can use it preemptively there and try and just zone out the opponents while you can then focus on the objective. So maybe that's their plan, to focus early objectives into the late game. But the victor, I feel, at least early game, will have a slight pushing advantage and may open up some roaming opportunities in that regard.
yeah. I mean, uh, the thing about I think Veigar's okay actually here, right? Because you have they have this hard engage with Zac, Elastic Slingshot. So for League of Dolphins, they really want Zac to kind of initiate. If you're able to just cage the Zac in, it's not only that it creates space for Mankarine to work with and it forces Zac to kind of wait out the cage, it also kind of deteriorates this initiation that he's trying to set up for his team. So I think the Veigar is actually fine, and they have a lot of disengaged Yumiel, Veigar cage. I mean, essentially Sejuani ultimate if they really wanted to, but yeah, I think the Veigar is actually fine here. It might not be as proactive or uh, flashy as any other mid laner that we've seen, but I think it'll get the job done here.
That said, I know that you think it's a good pick. It's probably going to be a good pick,
Yeah.
but the Zac pick in lane is very difficult for Vigar to deal with
Oh
because
yeah.
he
Yeah.
does not have that opportunity to cage aggressively. So if he even sees Zac flying at him, he has to flash because at that point it's too late to cage.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so if you do get, the ability to combo Zac Victor into all that amount of CC, very difficult to deal with, very difficult to get, out of.
Mhm.
I think there's potential for it to go wrong, and then all of a sudden you're relying on Kled and Ezreal to be your damage output, which realistically isn't too shabby. That is something that you can do in this day and age.
Yeah, and then if you look at League of Dolphins comp, I think the main issue here is you have the Ophelios, which has been it got nerfed, but it's not significantly nerfed, and you have the Victor. Um, I'm just not too sure how Lulu really fits in. I haven't seen a lot of Lulu in solo queue. Haven't really seen it in competitive play. It might just be a comfort pick, which is a-okay. I always encourage, if you're playing fives, just play with what you're good at and what you've been practicing with. Um, but I just don't know if it'll complement well. You do have the Zac. You can hugify the Zac. Yeah, I mean, the ultimate will come in clutch, but I mean, actually, it doesn't actually seem so bad because you can also polymorph the Kled or whoever's frontlining onto your team comp. So, I mean, we'll see. I think definitely Mankarine got the better draft this game. I really like the Ezreal Yumi, as we both mentioned. It's really good, safe in lane. Sejuani with a melee top laner is always very nice.
Especially with Kled, who has that, attack speed steroid, every 24 seconds or so. You can gank the lane, get that stun off the first side, force the Yorick flash, and then just repeat it, 30 seconds later. And there's not a whole lot Yorick can do about it.
Yeah, with that being said, we are gonna go ahead and head into intermission. Stick with us here, folks. Grab a drink, grab something to eat. We're in here for a best of 3, so you know, let us know actually who you think is going to take game 1 here. But just to let you guys know, it is a best of 3, so definitely want to hear some predictions on who you think is going to take the cup for everything here, as both teams I believe are 1-0 so far in Unstoppable League. Welcome back, everybody. We are back from our break here, straight onto the Rift. Both teams are ready to face it out. Game one, we have our very own Mankarine versus League of Dolphins as they head down the Rift.
So I'm excited. I don't think we're gonna get any kind of crazy level 1 action. The players have the tools, but let's be honest, it's still early in the season. They're still feeling each other out. There's no need for them to go hog wild just yet. Plus, they already have vision on both junglers, so they are going to be keeping that in mind.
Yeah, definitely. They're going to go ahead and eagle spread themselves across the river. Not looking for anything too serious. Maybe some sneaky wards just to help track down where both junglers are heading. And I wonder if Sejuani's going to stick the recall for a sweeper, or she's just going to stick with the yellow trinket, but...
Probably just hold the yellow trinket there, because they know that... Well, so they knew that there wasn't an invade, but they're thinking about it.
Yeah, definitely.
Just going to go for the river ward to block out any vertical jungling. But honestly, I think both junglers are just going to full clear. I don't see a world where they try to do a level 2-3 gank. They're just going to full clear the jungle, stay super healthy, go back to base, and then come back out with the jungle item and go from there.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, maybe Sejuani just does buff Grom. She'll hit level 3 off of that and just maybe look for a gank top lane early on York. Doesn't have a lot of tools to help deteriorate from a gank. So it might help Kled with that priority, and whereas in Zach's case, I think he's fine just doing buff Gromp into red side. And he might just look for a gank in mid lane. But so far, bot laners are just looking for a little bit of a petty poke. Nothing too serious here.
Yeah, I mean, has the Severum, probably has the Bloodline Overheal in the back pocket as well. I actually don't know for a fact. Nice little engage here in the top side.
Yeah, definitely. York.
The ghoul just made the saddest die sound. That's unfortunate.
They're like little kitties, right? For that skin. Oh, here comes a trade coming in from the bot lane. Ignite burning on the Ezreal, but looks like it might be first blood going straight over to rapid fire. They should be able to maybe get the second kill on top of Poggy. But force the burn heal should be safe and sound.
Really unfortunate. They're blowing the ignite early from I Wanna Die, and they thought they had the damage, but you know what? It's quite a bit of healing coming out of that Yuumi, and the good turnaround from Ezreal means that they just land all the abilities, and that's not good.
Toddy might be able to get a solo kill on top, flashes over the wall. York's gonna stay in his cage, say, all right, I need to buy some time, but Sejuani's here, so honestly, this should be an easy kill going straight over towards Toddy, but Narwhal's gonna go ahead and take it for himself. So right now, we see Mankarines with a 2-0 lead so far.
So I don't know if that was worth it for Shanghai. He was dead to rights no matter how he died. But unfortunately, what he ends up doing is he gives away additional gold over to the Mankarine side because they got that assist gold as well. So they got, 300 for the kill, however much for the assist. Sejuani is now 300 gold richer, and so is Kled. Kled has an extra 150 gold in his pocket now.
Oh, gets the stun on top of the Zach. Not sure if they're going to come in for any more, but both junglers are on the top side here as bot lane definitely trying to hold their own against this Ezreal Yuumi. Don't think they've backed yet, so there isn't an advantage state just yet. But, I mean, right now Ezreal and Yuumi, they are thriving.
Yeah, and that's pretty much what I would expect. The really unfortunate thing about Aphelios Lulu is that they can fall behind pushing in the very early stages of the game because Aphelios doesn't have access to a large amount of wave clear. He's stuck on Severum and the sniper. Now he has Gravitum. It's really tough for him to fast push these waves, but without losing too much to Lulu. And I can't believe they're still fighting over this Krug. It's literally been over a minute.
Krugs give so much XP, but right now they're gonna go ahead and fight for it.
And Bioheat's not gonna win this.
I think he has to burn flash here.
Nah, he can hang out. Wait
for the buy time for Q. I definitely think he needs to flash. Okay. I'm pretty sure he was stalling for his Q cooldown, but he had just used it, so it was another 10 seconds. And he was definitely not going to survive 10 seconds of Zach and York beating down on him. So, a bit of a blunder on the side of Mankarines, but League of Dolphins are not complaining on that one.
Yeah, it was actually really interesting that Toddy was able to hold on to Scarl there as well. Looking at it after the fight, it was sub 20 HP after he finally killed all the little kitty ghouls. But hey, those are things you get to do when you play Kled.
Yeah, I mean, you take those, you're basically half a champion when you're dismounted, so you're gonna make sure that you don't get dismounted, and you'll take anything you can get from it, whether it be 20 HP away from dismounted. You are knowing for sure that you are not have a champion in that instance. But I mean, so far in this bot lane,
Man, this
like,
Ezreal
this
putting in
is rough
so
for
much
Lulu,
work.
right? Yeah, like, I don't think she's able to poke efficiently. Flamethrower going out on top with grabbing him, so they should be able to make a play here with enough CC. Ignite going out on top of the Phelios, but it's so hard to kill Ezreal Yumi that their efforts are being wasted here. Ignite already on cooldown from I Wanna Die, and here comes York, forced to pop ultimate, but Clutch should be able to get a free kill, solo kill on the top lane. Toddy putting himself on the board once again. Sejuani going really deep on top. Don't think she'll have to pay for it actually, and missed the last clean shot on top. Gets the one and done. He's gonna walk away while Yumi gets extra gold from the support item.
So we can see in the mid lane here that Twiz now has that upgraded Death Ray, and he can full clear those minion waves. So I would really like to see him continue to push these waves aggressively and maybe try and make a play down bottom side a bit more. His bot lane's being consistently pushed in, letting the Ezreal Yumi just poke all day long and do whatever they want. I mean, top lane's over. Don't bother going top lane right now. York's 0-2. Kled has a kill to his name and a Tiamat. Unfortunately, at this point, you just gotta sack it. Let the tower go down and focus on getting, things otherwhere on the map.
Yeah, I mean, things aren't even that bad in terms of jungle XP. I mean, both Sejuani and Zac are practically within the same XP range here. Here comes Kled once again, looking for a solo kill. Just gonna go ahead and chunk that Yorick, who is not going to be having fun this lane at all. And honestly, he just needs to farm under turret. It kind of sucks. We've all been there. But
yeah,
there's no way he can test that.
And I mean, we saw how fast the Kled was able to proc Conqueror there. And it's really difficult to deal with a champion once Conqueror has been procced if you haven't procced yours yet. That's a really big stun coming out of Peach Buzz, but he's just not there yet in the damage department.
Yeah, he did opt for Glacial Augment, a little bit less damage, but you in turn get a lot of utility later on, so I mean, it basically means I should not have a reason on why I missed my skill shots. Looking at you, Peach Buzz, so later on if I see anything missed, a few question marks can go out there.
So I think we're starting to see Shanghai actually really regret this Conqueror pick. I understand that Conqueror is so good right now, but we're currently in a world where York isn't 100% pick Conqueror. There are a lot of times where you can go fleet footwork or, even a more defensive, keystone. Big slow coming in.
Ultimate on top of the Veigar, needs to be careful. Kicking him down from the backline, but Victor's getting dove from across the map. Toddy picking up another kill, and Veigar lives to see another day. Nicely done from Toddy, able to rotate mid lane, but Lulu getting caught out.
Desu.
She not to pay. She might just need a flash away from the Collateral unless it's too late. Flash is way too late. He already got the E on top. Might look for another kill on top. Guess this Mountain needs to fight his way out of the situation. No remount, but the shutdown going straight over to BioHeat. A little bit of compensation going over to the League of Dolphins.
So a really messy play there off of what began really nice. There's the really nice layering of CC and damage coming out from Peach and Narwhal, and then you had Toddy coming in on the background with the ultimate for the the final kill, and then we had Desu just wrong place, wrong time, wrong idea entirely. Trying to 1v1 the at that point 2-1 or 201 Kled, and we saw the rundown there. Landed the first. Teed the second hit of the dash, and at that point it was just free money.
Yeah, definitely do agree. And despite Mankarine's having a really strong lead, what I'd like to see them try to do is try to extend the Sejuani's lead here. Down in CS, but here or
Yeah.
finish the job at least. And putting himself on the board, Peach Fuzz picking up the kill. But back to what I was saying, I think Narwhal's. I mean, granted, they're both tank junglers, so they're not really meant to be farming out their camps. But you know, you at least want to like pick up Gromp or Krugs to give the most XP, and you're trying to build a lead in the at least in this season where jungle. I mean, they fixed the XP nerfs, but jungle definitely is a position where if you're trying to build a lead, you kind of want to go from there because the more priority you have over a jungle, like the more leniency the game gives you in terms of like making mistakes and stuff like that. Because I mean, Zach doesn't need a lot of levels, granted. I think Sejuani benefits a lot more from that in terms of just getting the sun back up for her E and stuff like that. But as we do see Toddy looking for another trade on top, does have the Mistress on top, so definitely going to be doing a lot more damage, and Kled might be biting more than he can chew. The ghouls are punching him. The cats are on top. A flash from Shanghai cost him his life. What was going so well turned horrible drastically, and
Unfortunately, that was one of those. That was one of those really greedy plays you think you have, and had it been anybody but Kled, you probably do.
Yeah, definitely. And here comes the Yumi ult on top. Multiple members of Philios only hitting Sejuani, but the Ezreal ultimate True Shot Barrage finds it on top of I Want to Die Desu. And now they're turning towards Bioheat, trying to run for his life here. Might be able to look for more, but overall they'll take that one kill over the Lulu and should be turning their heads towards the Dragon. Infernal has not been on the list so far, but they are going to try to go for it now. A little bit of a worry here since Victor's already on his way. So is Veigar, but I think Victor's a more of a threat with that ultimate. But they are going to secure the Infernal Drake, and they're going to walk away happily.
Yeah, it's not the end of the world. You know, we do have these early game dragons. Really not that big a boost in stat. I think Infernal's like 4% increased AP, DP, or DP, AP, AD. I don't really know where I was going on that one. But, I mean, it's just really not as big a deal as the previous years have been, but it looks like Shanghai is going to be going down once again, and Toddy 2K is just an animal right now, riding on the back of that Kled.
Oh, yeah. He's definitely having a lot of fun smashing his opponent to the ground, and things are not looking too hot for Shanghai. He has seen better days, but this allows for Mankarine to have a lot of priority on the top side of the map. And honestly, they could probably look for Herald here, but here comes Zach on top of the Veigar. Bioheat gets the Sun. Chaos Storm goes out on top. Not doing enough damage fast enough. The cage going through, but the ultimate able to snag the kill on Bioheat. Peach Buzz picking up another kill for themselves here.
We do see the first brick going down in that top side. Toddy 2K, just rich as rich can be. He is the Jeff Bezos of the map right now. And I mean, it's going to go the way of the small business owners facing Amazon right now. I think it's really difficult for Shanghai to be any kind of relevant in this game before 35 minutes at the earliest, really. And you do hate to see it, but I think it's actually a really smart drafting decision by the Mankarine, you know, letting them think Shanghai has, you know, that comfort pick. I mentioned that he has, 7 times as many games as anybody else in his pick, in his pool. And I mean, it's getting smashed out this hard. It's going to be really difficult heading into game 2, knowing that, you don't have a safe harbor in that top side.
Yeah, I mean, Mankarine has 3 winning lanes. They're in a really good spot at this point of the game. It'd be really hard for League of Dolphins to kind of make a sort of comeback off of this. It really costs a lot of mistakes that have to be self-inflicted.
Toddy's going to 1v2 right now.
Yeah, he probably can, but despite Severum going out, Ophelios is forced to... Did Lulu fat finger though on her... Okay, mistakes happen. I'm going to say that was intentional for the knock up and slow, but here comes the Kled with a re-engage. Melts the Lulu off the screen, remounted on top. Scarl, his loyal companion, helps him out and gets a double kill going over to Toddy.
I would like to point out that he was 5-1, got an entire tower with all plates to himself.
Oh, hold that thought. Ezra Yumi trying to hold themselves accountable against this York. dead here, and here comes the Zac. Don't think he dies for this, but yeah, Shanghai is not having the best game, as you're saying.
So was 5-1 with an
Yeah.
assist, got an entire top lane turret with all 5 plates, and was 4 levels above the support and 2 levels above the AD carry. These are the types of things you get to do as a top laner sometimes.
Oh, Bioheat actually finishes up, gets Hernandez down here. Should be able to get back on his passive. Ophelios has the Gravitum and the Flamethrower. Gets the shutdown all on top of Rapid Fire. So all is not lost just yet.
Ooh.
As we see Twiz on the run, chasing after Norwal, while we see Toddy on his way to back up his jungler. Does have the augmented Q, does get that movement speed boost, but at this point you are biting more than you can chew. Norwal turns around. Should be an easy kill going over to him. Twiz making a fatal mistake there.
Yeah, young Narwhal getting the heal from the smite on the Gromp, having the boots 2 versus boots 1 for the extra move speed to stay out of range, and then, you know, the Merc Treads just giving that extra bit of MR. Twiz may have been better off going back to base instead of chasing through his own jungle, but
I think he was still dead no matter what. If he went down in that little, on the right side, I think Kled still catches him there. So at that point, he's kind of like, well, I might as well go for it. Not the best decision, but I mean, they're in a really rough spot this game. And at this point, what are you thinking if you are playing on League of Dolphins, playing this game right now? What's on your mind right now?
So if I'm playing League of Dolphins, I'm hanging out on my own base, giving up all objectives save for Soul, which we don't actually even know what the Soul is yet, you know, 17 minutes into the game, which is pretty wild. But there is still the Herald being held, you know, on young Narwhal. They're going to use that to crack probably mid-tower, I would assume, just to finish off getting those tier 1s. So if you're League of Dolphins, just farm. Hang out, let them take the towers, let them, you know, take the second Rift Herald, get the dragons, which it looks like we're... Oh, man, that's unfortunate.
Ocean Soul coming out here, but they are turning on top of the Zac. Let's Bounce tries to buy him some time, but the Primordial Burst finishes the job once again. This Veigar is looking mighty dandy here, as we do see the Sojourner lock down the Yorick. Shanghai gets taken down here. Rapid Fire gets the kill for themselves as they turn their faces towards the mid-turn. Should be able to crack it open and look for another fight. Chaos Storm on top of the Ezreal, forced to back away. Oh, dismounted. The Sejuani actually gets taken down. Actually, never mind, that wasn't even this man. That was just the death animation of Sejuani. They do get the Rift Herald to go on top of the second tier turret, get some damage in. And overall, it's a pretty good move on Mankarine's. Despite the fact that Sejuani dies there, it's not that bad.
So I may have to change my answer to farm and let them take stuff to start thinking about next game.
Yeah.
You know, thinking about the draft, wondering if you're going to give up the, you know, Kled again, wondering if you're going to give up the Yuumi and the Sejuani. Like, there's a lot of power picks here, to be honest. But honestly, the Kled is really the issue. Being 7-1-2, there is nobody on this squad for League of Dolphins who can compete with that. He has the Titanic and the Black Cleaver. It's 2 fully completed items, and the only champions on League of Dolphins who have completed items are the 2 bot laners. I'm not going to count the...
Jungle Enchantment.
Well, I was going to say the Victor item, but yeah,
Oh.
Jungle Enchantment's a little easy to get away with too. But, I mean, it's just so difficult.
Yeah, I mean, what do you mean? They got changed. They have Immolate now. Worth of an actual item.
It was really good before. Like,
No, I know.
like,
I'm just poking fun because Riot wanted to buff tank junglers again.
which is fine. I definitely think tank junglers are kind of a necessity. I personally think it's less fun watching.
Flamethrower and Severum. Rapid Fire.
All right, that works out.
Rapid fires his way to the base. You hate to see it, but
These things happen. But I mean,
you know, I think he's putting on a show for Twitch chat. You know, I think Twitch chat, they're like, okay, woohoo, but you know, who doesn't like seeing someone accidentally fat finger the E button forward and cost them their life? But it does put them in an awkward situation since they are looking to try to contest Baron. So they're kind of just doing this awkward Baron dance, which they know they'll win because they have Clan ulti. Which, speaking of which, is on the way. Yep. Sejuani ultimate slows down the Lulu. They're gonna go
Oh,
on top.
no.
Oh, I want to die, and she will get her wish eventually. As you do see the Yumi ult lock down the Lulu. Toddy is unstoppable. Chaos Storm is out of the way, so not on the table for them. Dismounts the Kled force to flash away. Yumi getting caught out, and a shutdown going straight over to the Aphelios. Peach Fizzle gets the kill on Poggy, and they do end up getting hurt Nandas, but that shutdown going straight over to Aphelios definitely gives a glimpse of hope towards League of Dolphins.
Yeah, I mean, a 2 for 2, doesn't look super good for League of Dolphins on paper, but once you add up all that shutdown gold and having it go directly to your main damage carry, that's incredible. And now they do have the opportunity to try and catch out Narwhal as well. They are. Oh, he actually gets the snag, but there's no CC follow-up just yet.
Yeah, they don't have like consistent damage. Chaos Storm is on cooldown. Aphelios is dead, or he just spawned. So I mean, it was a good catch. But
oh no!
Should be fine here.
Oh no!
Shanghai needs to be a little bit careful there. Mistress is gonna go ahead and give Sejuani the work here as they just retreat. I think they should probably reset. Well, they just hold mid since it is gonna crash into them.
So I gotta say, I really love this York skin, like, except for the Mistress. I don't know what it is, but the Mistress on the skin is, like, really unfortunate looking. The rest of the skin
I think it's like the black, like, tail thingies. I think that bothers me a lot, because...
It's like a shawl. Like, it's like a...
It's a horrible shawl, though.
But, yeah. And it's supposed to...
Like, and the cat looks more like a bear rather than a cat.
Especially when it's, like, sucking souls. Yeah, it's very bear-like. But maybe they were looking for, like, big cats? I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe make it purr louder. I don't know. It shouldn't purr like a little cat, It should purr like a feline.
That's a good idea. So we do have a dragon spawning relatively shortly. It is going to be the first Ocean Drake, which I personally really like Ocean Drake. It's not the greatest. It's 2.5% of your health every second when out of combat. Actually, it might be normal all time now. So 2.5%.
Right? I think without the soul, it's out of combat, and then.
Right. Okay. I mean, yeah, but it's like 2.5%. Not crazy amount. It's not the biggest amount, but they are going in very early here.
I mean, Bioheat's in very deep, and they're kind of splitting up the fight for themselves here. As they do end up popping Bioheat. He does have passive available, but Twist gets the kill on Hernandez. Nicely done. But they do get the Ophelio, so not a lot of damage left for them here. And Bioheat dies to rapid fire, and they do get the dragon on the side of Mankarine. And they do get another kill on top of the Lulu. Overall, it is a 4-for-1 in favor for Mankarines.
That could be the Baron right now. They have so many people up. There's only, Twiz on the opposition. I say just take it. You got Kled, you got, Ezreal, you got everybody you need. But it looks like they're going to go ahead and try and push through to this base and pick up the... just that tier 2, and now it looks like they're going over. I definitely don't agree with that now that everybody's spawned. It opens up the 50-50 potential from Bioheat. Yes, the last one's a bit sloppy, but we're looking at it right now, and it's only about a quarter of the way done right now. Bioheat's already at the red buff.
I mean, Sejuani is 2 levels up, so that's 100 damage on the smite. Granted, Sejuani is looking very low. Zach did cancel the elastic clean shot, and he got stunned, so not available. But they do get the Ophelios ult on top, but they're not going to actually go forward with it, and they're going to allow for Mankarine to just recall with Baron.
It was the Infernum ultimate out of Aphelios as well, but because of the invulnerability of, Yumi, it did technically only hit onto 2 players. So not the biggest, but now things are tough. It's got, you were on Soul Point for the Mankarines. They have Baron. There's not a whole lot that, Bioheat can do in these situations. Their Dolphins' timing on a lot of his objectives is just like 15 seconds too late, unfortunately, or too early in the case of the Ocean Drake.
Yeah, definitely do agree. And the gold lead, I mean, it's not as bad, but it definitely is a. Oh, actually, never mind. It is as bad. Never mind. I actually looked at it. They're up around 7K, but with League of Legends, as the game progresses, gold is irrelevant. But they're only 25 minutes in. It feels like it's already like 35 minutes in, but
I would like to
yeah.
point out that, yes, as the game goes on, gold means less. However, the reason it means less is because you're picking up items. And right now, Dolphins just doesn't have the opportunity for items. I mean, they're hitting at 2 items on their 80 carry, and he's doesn't have an attack speed item. I mean, he's being forced to build this, no magic mantle, and I don't even know why he's building it. Like, I just don't get it.
I guess for the Vagar, but I think most of the damage that they should be worrying about should be probably from the Kled and Ezreal. Granted, the Vagar will still one-shot the Ophelius. It's a very tough situation. This is what happens when all your lanes go boom. You have a build predicament, as we do see Let's Bounce going out on top, but they're able to peel back with the Sejuani ultimate, and they're looking for a re-engage. Actually, the Primordial Burst is available, but the Snipe with two-shot barrage. Rapid Fire picks up the kill on I Wanna Die Desu.
That was so much damage.
Yeah, that was actually a lot coming in from the Ezreal. But they are going to turn their heads towards the inhibitor turret on mid lane. Hopefully they break it down so that they're able to break open the base, and they'll probably be able to end in this push if they take this fight correctly, but Ophelius doing his best to hold his own there.
That said, they are making the 1-3-1 very effective. We can already see, the top inhibitor go down, bottom inhibitor turret go down, the enemy mid laner go down. We're down 3 inhibs now. I mean, honestly, there's 40 seconds on this Victor, who's the main wave clear. I mean, they can easily just push in for the end if they wanted to.
Yeah, I mean, definitely do agree, and I think Mankarine's taking this the safe route. They're gonna go ahead and just starve League of Dolphins from their jungle. Just gonna go ahead and take all their camps, so they're not able to actually get any catch-up gold other than the super minions. And the only worry they should have is not ending within the next 5 minutes, because at that point, League of Dolphins just gets an influx of gold due to having double super minions to deal with. So, I mean,
That said, Ocean Soul is in 20 seconds, and that is, the final dragon needed before they get that healing on every time they hit a champion. And, Dolphins having such a hard time killing Mankarine as it is, at that point, I think it's impossible, especially with 0 Grievous Wounds items on the side of the Dolphins.
yeah, I mean, no Grievous Wounds.
Okay.
It's too poor to actually do that.
So Poggy went for the Quicksilver Sash. I definitely don't agree.
But what can he do? Like, what? I mean, granted, like, it's not optimal itemization, but he's probably just like,
well,
the glacial augment. Like, the glacial augment is probably like forcing him to kite away from the fight.
So the issue with the Quicksilver Sash is that it does remove 1 CC ability. Yeah. Normally, very great, very useful, but he uses it there, and now he doesn't have it for the rest of the CC that's about to be coming in.
Yeah, and here comes this huge fight coming in from Norwal and Toddy as they go in with the Yumi ultimate, able to lock down the Yorick. Shanghai getting taken down here. Bio, he trying to hold his team together, but he will die with his passive still available. So, poor Bloblets dies with there in front of the turret.
Yeah, Viger actually has a really easy time hitting the Bloblets.
Yeah.
With the Dark Matter, because they just keep getting closer and closer. But, so I mean, I see what you were saying about the Quicksilver Sash, is it doesn't actually do anything poorly. Like, yes, he was able to get out of that CC there. The unfortunate part is that a lot of the, CC that he was immediately having to worry about is knockups. Because you have the Kled knockup, the Kled, Bear Trap on the ropes a knockup, Sejuani Charge is a knockup. Like, the only cleansable things are Event Horizon, the Glacial Prison, and the Yumi ultimate. Those are really the only ones that are cleansable, and realistically, except for that very last fight there, every time he got hit by one of those, he died. So it's just that amount of gold could have been put towards something else, something that would have actually won the fight, like a Zeal item into Runeans or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I do agree. Like the lack of attack speed did detriment Poggy's capabilities for that team fight. But I definitely think it's not an individual blame on this. I think it's a
Oh
more of
no,
a
yeah, I
yeah.
definitely didn't mean to
I'm sure you
imply
weren't
that.
meaning that, but like just to remind everyone, like this definitely was a group effort in terms of blame distribution. I think for League of Dolphins, the lack of lane priority for any of their lanes really cost them a lot. And in terms of matchups, because it seemed like the York wasn't sure about the Kled matchup and how it went. Ideally, I don't think he even runs Fleet in that instance. Maybe Grasp. I don't play a lot of York, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe he does play a lot of York, a lot more than me if he's willing to pick it. If it's
So
not,
the issue with grasp is you do need to be able to hit things before you can proc it.
yeah,
And a lot of the time he was in that lane, he was being pushed away from minions, and so it's really difficult had he gone grass to be able to proc it, which is a
yeah,
similar issue to what he was having with the Conqueror. So in that specific matchup, I would have gone fleet footwork. You do get that guaranteed heal every 100, charges. And so that whole time that you're, moving around, you're building charges, and then at the end you do get a little bit of a heal guaranteed. Um, Granted, it doesn't deal with the burst, but I mean, in realistically, that is your best case scenario. There's just to try and survive. Pick up a corrupting potion. You kind of have to build the Trinity Force first because you're Yorick, but maybe grab, you know, Bramble Vest early on just
yeah.
to survive. But I mean, that said, guys, we are going to take a short break while we set up for game number 2. So thank you for tuning in, and be sure to keep the channel going. We do have another action-packed League of Legends game for you.